What's going on, people, and welcome to the Blue Steel Podcast Show. I'm your co-host, LV Live, along with my co-host, Jeff. People, thank you. Welcome for coming back to our page. It's starting to get nice out. I'm excited out here in the Northeast. Jeff, in his certain location, he's been dealing with the heat, but we're enjoying it out here in the Northeast. But as it's hot outside, it's getting hot in sports because, as you guys see, Drew Brees out there talking and talking and talking. He should have learned from the other people that he should just best be quiet. But, hey, we're going to touch on that for our quick hitter. But please, people, hit the like, share, subscribe button. Do that. Also, too, hit us up at the bluesteelshow@gmail.com, bluesteelshow@gmail.com. Also, too, LV Live, JB Presents, Locker Room Talk on Facebook. Check that out. Jeff's been putting up a lot of great posts. Let's keep it rolling with that. We appreciate you guys. Just continue to come through and check out our page. You know what I mean? We love all the love and support. So let's get straight to it. Jeff. Break it down, my man. Drew Brees. Drew Brees.
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, initially, obviously pissed me off. But Drew Brees isn't saying anything that he's never said before. He said this back in 2016 when it initially started with Colin Kaepernick. Here's the problem. There's a few problems, but I have two or three main problems. First off, I'm quite sure at some point he had discussions with other people on the team about everything that's going on. It was going on back in 2016. So, I mean, we don't know this for a fact, but I'm going to assume at some point those discussions happen. I'm sure they happen in the locker room just like anywhere else. People's places of work, people talk, especially in sports because you have different types of people. You may not do it in a normal setting because it can kind of create, like, it can be bad in like a normal work setting, but a sports setting is a little different, which in a good way. You know what I mean? A lot of times you can have discussions that you can't have normally. But having said that, you were either being ignorance is not, I'm not even going to say ignorance because it's beyond ignorance because you already know, he knows why people are doing what they're doing. You can't make the excuse, oh, I didn't know. You know why the people are kneeling. He had to know that. It goes back to this president that we got trying to steal the narrative of why people were actually kneeling. Nothing to do with the flag. Kaepernick reached out to somebody in the military, said that's disrespectful to sit, so take a knee. And that person in the military was cool with that. On top of the fact that, in my opinion, the flag and all that has nothing to do with the military. It's about the country. And we have rights. You're allowed to do that. He's being peaceful. He's not being disrespectful. So he's not being, you can't claim ignorance. So it's either not caring, literally, or you really don't agree with it. And if it's one of those two, just be honest. Say whatever you got to say what you really feel, and just keep it moving. I'm going to say this, and this might be taken wrong, but I'm tired of people giving these fake apologies, these posts. You say stuff on video, but you're sending out something via Instagram. Be done with that, man. You know what I mean? Like, I'm done seeing a little fake, oh, I'm sorry, man, I'm done with that stuff, man. Same way you came out.
Did he apologize, Jeff? He apologized?
Yeah, he did it today in a really long, I mean, again, it's a long thing. Man, we passed that point, man. We passed the fake posts. We passed the fake or true, whatever, because anybody can write a post. Somebody can write that for you. Whatever you do in actions and words, I want to see you say something and do something about it. I'm done with with all this stuff going on. It's been going on for years in society. Like, I'm past the point of accepting these fake apologies. You say something like the coach for the Broncos, what he said, there's no racism in the NFL. I'm tired of seeing these little fake posts. Everything else, you can say in person. But when it comes to apology, we get some little nonsense, something your wife could have typed out for you. Be about it. If you ain't with us, you against us, is how I feel right now. That's a little strong, but that's the truth, man. Like, things got to really change. And people like Drew Brees has a really good track record of doing positive things, but this specific thing, he's off base, he's wrong. And the reason I'm saying is because I'm quite sure he's had discussions about this in between the 4 years that Kaepernick was kneeling and yesterday. And you still chose to say what you said to me. What you think?
Let me start off by saying this, right? Does he have how can I say, a person who directs him and tells him like what to do and what not to do? Like, I'm sorry, a PR person. Okay, I'll say that. Does he have a PR
might
person?
not.
Right.
He might not.
Then he should.
The Saints do.
Right. Okay. The Saints.
Saints do.
Then the Saints and him should fire that guy. Okay. Let's just say that. You got to be mindful, especially, Jeff, with the climate of the country, not today, not yesterday, but for weeks. You have to be mindful of that. And you have to choose your words wisely, especially coming from the group of people who aren't really highly affected by this. So you have to have a certain amount of like sensitivity. You have to. I'm sorry. You know, it's the same thing like with women's rights and stuff like that. As a man, like I have to be very, very sensitive and careful with what I say. I can't just blurt out stuff. I just can't. And so you have to be mindful, like who is this possibly going to affect? Because at the end of the day, I'm not a female, so I don't know their struggles. I don't, and I'll never know their struggles. So I have to be very, very careful with that. And I think Drew Brees dropped the ball. He did. Big time. Because everybody knows that Kaepernick never had an issue with the armed forces. Like, he never did. That was never his issue. And I get it. Drew Brees, this proper statement should have been, I understand why people kneel. I don't kneel because of my relationship with my parents, my uncles and dad, they served. So that's why I don't do it. But I do understand why other guys do kneel. That's the smart thing to say. Because then you're letting people know, like, listen, that's your way of protesting, and I respect you for that. Because I understand there are things that you deal with on a daily basis that I will never have to deal with.
Right.
Sorry, but because of the shade of my skin, like I just won't. So I have to be sensitive to that. And then also too, Jeff, the biggest thing is being sensitive to those guys in your locker room, man, who 90% of them don't look like you. They don't. I mean, you saw the tweet that Michael Thomas made.
Mm-hmm.
And that's his best receiver. He's nothing. If I'm correct, I think he got receiver of the year last year or something. He's like he was on pro.
Should have been first team All Pro, I'm quite sure.
Right. So if he's saying what he said, I forget the statement he made, but he said, I think Jeff, I think it was on the lines of he doesn't know no better. You know what I mean? Which is pretty much like come on, man. You know, so
and then he said another one. And then he accepted his apology today being the same way. But.
Right, but here's the thing though. You can accept the apology, which is, you know, we understand, but now it might be something in the back of that person's mind, right? And when you're dealing with racial relations and all that other stuff, when you say certain things, people are always going to feel like you kind of really mean that. No matter how much you apologize. You know what it is? You know what it's kind of like you cheat on your girl, right? You cheat on your girl once, you say sorry, but in the back of her mind, she's never really going to fully trust you, Jeff.
Right.
She's not. And that's kind of like what this is. And I think with Drew Brees being the face, one of the major faces of the NFL, I would have thought he would have handled this with a little bit more kid gloves, right? I thought, you know, because Peyton Manning wouldn't have done this. Eli Manning wouldn't have done this. They would have been real careful because they understand, like, the climate, especially what's going on now with the protesting. The protest is not just going on in the U.S., it's going on all over the world.
Right.
So this is not a flag issue. This is not an issue of
never was.
Right, of a military. This has nothing to do with that. This is a world problem. This is a world issue. You know what I mean? Of how brown people are pretty much treated, not just here in the States, but all over the world. So you just have to be mindful of that. So you got to kind of, your PR person's got to say, you know what, Drew? Pump the brakes right now. Now's not the time to bring that up. Let's maybe talk about something else, or maybe say it this way. What say you, sir?
I mean, yeah, I mean, yeah, everything you said was on point, man. It's literally, like I said, I'm to the point now though where I'm like, say what you really feel.
Right.
You know, like I'm again, because we get a lot of lip service, get all fake apologies, and that's how you are. That's how you are. I'd rather know. You know what I mean? Like, and honestly, not saying that just because you say one thing that makes you a certain way, but it shows your lack of empathy, caring for another human being, another race, someone that's not like you, you know, and whatever's going on, or a different sex or whatever it is. So I always try to be very mindful of that, everything I do, period, because of the things we experience as Black men, you know. So it's it's just and again, like I said, the biggest thing for me is these little fake apologies. I'm calling them fake because they're written. They're not. We don't know who wrote it. We don't know who's saying it. I can't see you. I can't do anything. So done with that. I don't want to see that anymore.
It's just that, Jeff, it's just a sensitive time now, man. It's a huge sensitive time. And I think that, you know, because we all know, smart people know what Kaepernick was kneeling for you to kind of come out and say that, it's kind of like, dude, like, you're way off base, man. We get it. Like, we understand your uncle and your dad served, which I think is amazing. I think that's awesome. I always take my hat off to those guys. I see those guys. I tell them, thank you for your service. I appreciate everything you've done for this country.
Of course.
That has nothing to do with why he was kneeling.
Nothing.
And
man, it just brings up another point. Like, literally, he talked about his grandfathers who served in World War II. I heard a stat yesterday on if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if it was just in Jersey or if it was across the country, but 167,000 people used the GI Bill to help get a house when they got back from the war. It was less than 100 people that were Black that got approved for that. Less than 100. So these people served in the war with your grandfather, both your grandfathers, still didn't even come back and get the same thing that they fought in the same war with your grandfather for. That's what we talking about, man. Like, that might be more ignorance because I didn't know that either. You know, that's just information that find out. But on top of it, it's not knowing. It's just being
right. Well, Jeff, but that's what I mean. Like, that's what I mean by the PR person. Like, you got to have somebody that's going to tell you to pump your brakes because of what's going on, and you got to be careful with what you say because, to your point, that stuff will be addressed with certain people, and they'll say, "Hey, listen," like, you know what I mean? Like, dude, like, you're just be quiet, okay? Just don't say nothing, okay? Just say,
yeah, that's better. Just not saying
right. Don't say nothing. The climate of our country right now is pretty crazy, man. I wish things were different. You know, we just got to continue to be right. Just that. Be generic. Don't start getting into all that other stuff, because now you're gonna really, really offend a lot of people. And Jeff, I'm not just speaking of brown people. I'm speaking of also too other people that look like you, that are looking at you like, yo, dude, are you serious? Are you serious? You know?
But here's the only thing I don't like about the PR, because that makes it seem like you're not genuine. Like I said, if you really thought, I'd just rather you say it or not. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I'm just tired of the fake stuff.
Right.
That's just a bigger narrative, the bigger problem. I get what you're saying, but
no, I understand what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying. You're happy that he said it because then you know who he is.
Right. And then again, like you said, this is nothing new. He said this before, but it's right now. This is not a smart move. It's not a smart thing.
So now the question is, Jeff, going forward, how is he going to be viewed in the league? I'm not speaking about the owners. I'm speaking about the players.
His own team.
How is he going to be viewed by his own teammates? That even though he apologized, are not going to really be too friendly with him. They'll deal with him, but they're not going to be the same towards him. Or when he goes to other teams and he's playing away games and he's giving guys handshakes or giving daps or whatever, and guys like, Because now you planted a seed, Jeff.
Yeah.
You planted a seed of what of what people perceive you to be. So now they're like, we're not really rocking you like that, Drew. We're just not.
Right.
You know, and guys are going to be cordial because guys want to get paid, so they're going to play with you and do what they have to do.
It's a job.
It's a job. The only place, but to that defense, the only place that I could see this really doing well in is in a locker room, because believe it or not, he's going to probably be forced to, not by PR, not by the coaches, but amongst his peers. He's going to kind of be forced to address and really express what he really meant. And he's going to probably have to have a conversation within that locker room. If anybody's ever been in a locker room, guys, kind of off topic, players, my guys who know who are players out there, you know, amongst that locker room is a brotherhood. There's kind of like a cohesion thing that is separate from the women, from the girlfriends, from the parents, from the kids. It's just you and your brothers. So you guys have to have a even keel bond to where you're on the same page with each other. Even though you may agree with different things, you're there for each other because you're battling together and you're trying to have one common goal, Jeff, as you know, which is to win. We can't do that if we got beef. It's not going to work. So that's why I'm saying, people, and Jeff understands, but I'm just saying it to my audience, there's going to be a conversation amongst those guys, amongst the teammates, without no coaches around, as they used to call it, Jeff, a closed players only meeting.
Board meeting, yeah. Yep.
Right. That's what's going to happen. I'm telling you that's going to happen. Because he's going to have to kind of say, look, man, I didn't mean it like that. And there are going to be arguments. There's going to be things that are going to be stated. There's going to be ways to where he's going to have to explain himself to those guys, because those are guys who are going to war with him, and he's the quarterback. So, I mean, that's something he's going to have to deal with, Jeff.
Yeah. And again, it's not just what you say right there; it's your actions. It's beyond at this point, man. Things are beyond what you say. It's what you do.
Right.
So, I mean, Malcolm Jenkins is on that team again. Malcolm Jenkins is very much at the forefront with, you know, we haven't even gotten into the fakeness of the NFL and all that other stuff and all these statements they put out. We'll talk about that another time. But, I mean, you know, there's a lot of issues in the NFL, man, and a lot of racial issues. Of all the leagues, like, it's way worse. I mean, NBA's –
You have a lot of – Jeff, you have a lot of powerful guys in that locker room. You got Cam Jordan. Forgot about Cam Jordan?
Yep.
You got Cam Jordan there. You got Malcolm Jenkins. You just said it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You have the wide receiver. I just said his name a couple minutes ago.
Michael Thomas.
You got Michael Thomas in there. You have a lot of powerful guys in there who have a big voice. And once again, who don't look like Drew Brees.
Right.
So he's going to have some explaining to do when everything comes around. And I mean, hopefully he can get past this, man, and get past it. What I mean by get past it is, I just hope he learned a valuable lesson. You know, I just hope he did, man. I just hope he did, because the way things are today, it's just crazy. It's a very, very crazy time. This is weird. This is a weird time, man. You know what I mean? I kiss my son. You know what I mean? He's 6'3". You know what I mean? High school baseball, football player. And, you know, I kiss him, man. Let him know I love him every night just because. You know, it's crazy out there. He's going to be driving soon. You know, I have, you know, a young son. You know what I mean? He's 6. And I have, you know, I have a new child on the way. I have a new king, man, coming. So I got 3 boys, man, that I'm going to have to direct and kind of give great instruction to, the same way my father did me, on how to navigate this thing. Drew Brees doesn't have to do that. He doesn't have to have that conversation. So that's why he's got to be really, really sensitive to what he states and how he comes across to people, because you don't know who can offend. And once again, I have to use this because it's the same thing. We don't know what certain things we may say, how it may affect women. We don't know, because we're not females. We're not. So as guys, we can kind of be like, you know, she'll be okay. She'll figure it out. Dude, no, she won't. You know what I mean? Because you don't know how and this is in all types of genres, any type of work. any type of thing you do. You could be a truck driver. You can work in finance. It doesn't matter. You know, you got to be careful when how you interact and say things to women, because you know how it could offend them. And this is the same thing when it comes to this. It just is. That's just the climate, not just of this country, Jeff, but of the world.
Right. Absolutely, man. So they have no clue.
Yeah.
You know, between us, we got 5 boys. They got 2 of my own. So, you know, we've all had, you know, they talk and we do it multiple times, but people aren't even aware you have to tell your kids like how to interact, which is crazy, but you do.
Right.
You know? So.
Right. Hey man, great show, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, people, listen, we'll be back later on this week to really touch on a couple of things that are pretty much the sports world is getting revved up. Things are slowly starting to open back up. So we should definitely see sports before the summer is out. And it's going to be an exciting time. Me and Jeff are going to be banging out a lot of content, man, because things are starting to get revved up, like I said. So, people, please, once again, hit the like, share, subscribe button. Also, too, if you don't like it, if you have your statements, please put comments there. Send us an email, bluesteelshow@gmail.com. Let us know what you think. Also, too, hit us up on LV Live, JB Presents Locker Room Talk. It's on Facebook. If you want to invite, just send a request. If you want to put your statements there, please put it. Let's discuss it. We're all adults. We can handle it. Just let's keep it G-rated, no curses and stuff like that, and we can have a nice, friendly debate, man.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Hey, listen, man. I'm going to speak to you soon, man, all right?
All right. Be safe, brother.
All right, brother. You too.